Hey, welcome back. In our last class, we discussed about the event hub, right? So now we understand like how the event grid works and event hub works and when exactly and what are the different situations we can really use those services for our different use cases, right? So today we are going to have the working session with our Azure portal and
Uh,
building one of the infrastructure or one of the product kind of thing where you can really publish some of the messages to the events to the event grid and then we'll able to visualize those events in our somewhere in our web page in real time, right? So that's where what we're trying to build. So anything you're asking, Smith?
just today. In this particular diagram here,
Uh-huh.
create an event grid topic.
Uh-huh.
So, I was having a question. Like,
Uh-huh.
is it a part of the service bus, or the
Yes.
service bus is different?
The service bus is different. Okay. The service bus, these are if I say this is one service, separate service. Okay. And service bus is a separate service. Okay. So they are though they have some similar kind of functionalities, but their use case is different, right? So it's you can say like you can choose those as per your need. Okay. I mean one cannot be replaced by other, right? So that's what it is. So whenever we are talking this one, right, the event grid, so this itself is a service. It's not part of the service bus. We'll come
Okay.
to the service bus little bit later. Okay. But
Okay.
if you think of service bus is also somewhere nearby these two things, right? Event grid and event hub, right? Because service bus is also a part of the whole messaging system available in the Microsoft Azure, right? So as like our event grid and event hub, we'll come to the event service, a service bus. Service bus, I was talking about Kafka, right? Exactly, service bus is somewhere around that. Okay, so we'll talk about that. It has, lot of different kind of functionalities and the benefits if you are going to use that. Okay, and then again, so whenever you will learn about those benefits and the use cases, then you can easily understand. Okay, if these are the cases, these are my needs. I should go with this service. If this is not the case, maybe something else, then go with the other one. Right? It's kind of those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like let's
Means
for
why
example.
I asked, because service bus is also having a topic and the messages, so it is similar to this. So
Exactly. I mean,
yeah,
that's
that
why, when I explain this event grid and event hub, at the first place, why I have, given the whole scenario like comparison, all these things, because it's really confusing, all these things. But if you go little deeper, you really understand like why these are, how they are really different, right? So when you look into the service bus also, service bus is exactly same. When it comes to messaging, no, it always goes with queue and topic and partition. These three things are minimum. Okay, any messaging system. So now when we talk about the messaging system in Azure infrastructure, so there are three different kind of messaging services available. One is the message event grid and event hub and the service bus. So use those three things one way or other as for your need. Okay, but they are different in some cases, right? Some cases in the sense like they have their own functionalities and the architecture wise little different, right? So that's why they have different one. And also whenever you are using those things in production level, so you have to also think of like how we which service is more flexible and what are the different things you are getting out of that. Okay, so in future maybe you might have a plan to add some new feature to that particular your whole infrastructure. If today you are going to use event hub, instead of service bus, or event grid instead of the service bus, you might have to re-architect after some time, or maybe 1 year, 2 year, 5 year down the line. You have to re-architect the whole thing. You have to get rid of this, remove this particular component from your architecture, and you have to inject the service bus, right? Why? Because that particular point of time you need some of the features which actually the service bus is providing, not even grid, right? So those are the things. But that's a right question, and everyone has those kind of question, right? Because all these are almost similar, but why they have created different services? Because they have their, I mean, internally their architecture is different, and they have, they built for some specific, use cases where you can really leverage those. But if you think of, all three can be generally used, right? But if you want to go with the internal configurations and all, it will come to very specific use cases where they will give the higher throughput, higher bandwidth, no, high throughput, lower latency, all these things according to their, according to their architecture, right? So that's how it is. So here, what we are going to do, we are going to no create one event grid a service, and in the event grid service, we'll have topic, right? So in that topic, what we'll have to do, so we have to, whatever the topic we have, this topic has to be subscribed, right? So once this topic will be subscribed, so it will able to send the event into that particular event grid, right? So now we'll have some, one web app will deploy that. So where we'll able to, we'll try to connect those things to this particular event hub, sorry, event grid, right? So whatever the message coming to this particular topic, we should able to visualize those, monitor those in our web application, right? Then what is this? This is the grid client, event grid client, right? As you know, like, client is one of the program through which you can able to interact with those services, right? For every service in the Azure portal, you will have the client program for that. Otherwise, you cannot write program for them, right? So it's not a drag and drop, right? Or this is always, it's not a tool driven, right? There are a lot of places you have to write your program to manage and customize your requirement, right? So that's why there, even though you have a provision to, do drag and drop through the UI itself, the Azure portal itself, but ultimately they are providing the SDKs, the client programs, through which you can able to connect those things. So these are the ideally four components we need. Okay, so to build the whole this messaging ecosystem, right? So we'll go back to our portal, and we'll see, like, if I have any resources already. Well, I have deleted everything. Okay, so we'll go from, go from zero. Okay, what we'll have to do, so whenever we are trying to deal with the messaging system, or kind of this kind of event grid and all, okay, the first and foremost thing is, like, we have to have to register the event grid to our system, right? The account itself, whichever the subscription we have to register for that, right? So for that, we have to go with the, console, right? Go to the terminal. We have terminal, right? So we'll open the bash shell, right? Where we can able to write any command in the scripting way, right? The PowerShell has its own syntax also. So we'll just click it here to change it to the bash shell from the PowerShell, right? So we are going back here, and once it will open, okay, it's settled down. Now, oh, uh, it's still PowerShell. It's not done yet, right? So we'll switch to the bus cell, and then this is our bus cell, right? So we'll check, like, let's see the version of the Azure. So version of Azure CLI is 2.63, and related packages are there, right? So, and Python 3 is running. Well, Python is not required for you at this point, so don't have to. Okay. So now what we'll check? We'll check if our event grid is already registered or not, right? So for that, we have provided here one program. Okay, sorry, one command. What exactly this particular thing does? Azure is the command, okay, and Azure is the tool, right? The Azure CLI is the tool through which we are trying to execute the command. And what is the command? Provider, the resource. What is the resource? Is the provider. What you want to do? Just show the provider what exactly it's already what in which state it's already registered state or not registered state, right? If it's registered, it will see already registered. Yeah, it's already registered, right? Because before this lab also, I have some time back, I already executed this. So for my subscription, it's already registered, right? If whenever you will run this program, probably you will get not registered, right? Then you have to register it, correct? So first you have to execute this. If it's showing registered, then we are well and good, right? So that's what it is. Now we are registered. We are good to go, right? So or else what you can do? You can do like AG provider register provider help. Okay, there is a register, right? You can go and just remove help register and same package. The namespace equal to this guy, right? And you can execute that, right? So there, what it will do, it will try to refresh the your registration, and again you can execute this particular show, then it will show the same thing registered, right? Because even if I'm executing this, so it will again show the registered, it's already registered, so you cannot see the difference. But when if you are first time you are executing that, you might see that not registered first, then whenever you will try to register it, it will try to register. Okay, and again you will execute this particular show command, then you will see it's registered, right? So that's how it is. So the next one, what we will do, we are going to, I mean, this is just, I mean, for this particular, bus cell, this is what it is we suppose we wanted to do, right? And we know like it's registered, right? So let's close it. We don't have to go with that. Now what we have to do, we have to create one what event hub, right? So let's go create one event hub, correct? So here from here, event hub, sorry, event grid, right? Right. So we'll go with the Azure provided, correct? Event grid topic. Okay. So there are a lot of things available over here, right? So try to select one. Which one you want to select from here? Event top grid topic, right? So here you can go create exactly like our other other services. You'll go with you can go with this, right? So select something already exist. If not exist, just create one, right? And provide some the topic name, right? So like smart event event topic, right? I'm giving my own name, so you can provide your name, or if you can go with this particular, I mean particular guy, you can go with this exactly same name you want to provide it. If you want to follow the exact the documentation I have put in the GitHub, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to use this particular HTTPS2, right? And then what we are what we'll do, we'll go and review it, right? And once it be reviewed, and then we're going to create it. So while it's creating it, we should able to see one event grid. I mean, the event grid topic is ready, and then the topic name is called pop sub events, right? So exactly the same kind of scenario you have to go and follow, right? So now what we are going to do, now we have created one event grid, right? This is the one we have created the event grid, and we have already created this, we have clicked the create and we have created that, right? Now, as we said, from our architecture, what we supposed to do, we have to create one web app, right? So create one web app, right? For the web app, what we are going to do, deploy the Azure event grid viewer to a web app, right? So we are going to first create the web app itself, right? Exactly, we know like how to create a web app. We already did this kind of activity earlier, right? So now we can go with the, let's go to the event grid first, right? Okay. So what, how it look like? See the pops up event, right? So here you can see the settings, and so here you will not find much, but here event subscriptions, right? There is a component called subscriptions, right? So for this subscription, you don't have subscription at this point, right? So we'll create one web app, then we'll try to subscribe it to this particular event grid, right? Topic. Then let's go to the create research and then web app. Okay, here web app, create one, and then what we'll do, we already have the resource group. Let's provide that resource group, and then so exactly the same thing what we'll try to provide here, right? While creating this, and from web app, we are going to create the uh, what name we are going to give. We can give this already. We'll give an event. We can this the viewer. We can provide the web app name viewer, right? The what viewer? The events viewer. Same, and we'll attach the viewer. Okay, viewer. So that okay. So here I just toggle that. I don't want to have a bigger long name. Rather, I have already given a unique name. So I'll just switch it off so that it will just azurewebsite.net, right? So that will be. Then what will go? We'll go with the what kind of publish we are going to. We are not going to write the code for the web app at this point, right? So we are going to deploy one with the container which is already exist. I mean, a simple web application already built by Azure itself, right? So we can go with that, so that we can directly deploy that and check like how if we are able to see those things or not, right? So then we'll go with the Linux operating system, and you can always choose this the your region you have, and then here you can it's already selected, right? You can go with that or not. And this one I'm going with the premium one because we will get more features and benefit out there. And I anyway I already my pre version is already expired, right? So I cannot go with the pre version. So now go with next, next, same default, right? You don't want the sidecar and all. So here the image source, what we'll do, we'll choose this guy, Azure Container Registry, right? Okay, then what we'll do, we'll go with, once you'll select this one. Oh, it's not showing anything. Okay, it's supposed to show something. Docker Hub, sorry, Docker Hub. Yeah. So here, whenever we are choosing this one, why we are coming to the Docker Hub? Okay, so Docker Hub is one of the one of the service. It's available in any cloud. Okay, so you go with the AWS cloud, go with your Azure cloud, or go with the Google cloud. Right? Everyone has a registry. Right? Why that registry is required? That registry contains all the images from different software. Right? Let's, for example, you want to build one web application. What you want to do? Let's, for example, you have build one web application, and you want to get a image out of that. Exactly same thing. If whenever you are installing the Windows, new Windows, what you're doing, you are installing from a image file, right? From an image file, you are going to install it. So exactly same thing. Whenever you are creating an image out of your application, then it become one of the binary file. Anyone can use that to redeploy it and build exactly the same machine anytime, anywhere, right? So that's why. So whenever you are creating those images are has to be committed somewhere or stored somewhere, right? And those images cannot be stored somewhere in the database, or not somewhere in the storage account, right? Whenever we are selecting this guy, right? So it will automatically pull that from the Docker. From where it will pull? It will pull from this one. Okay. HTTPS index.docker.io. Okay. Let's go here. Okay. So with the docker.io. Okay. Under this is a Docker, who is the creator of the Docker, right? So they have a Docker Hub, public Docker Hub, that is also a cloud, right? So there are a lot of people, they really customize lots of images, and they rebuild and push it, right? So that you are getting right there some of the applications which really you want, and you don't have to rewrite that same thing, right? So for that, you just pull that image and just install it in your web app, and you're done. You're getting the already written web application, right? So that's what it will be. It will happen. So it will go to this particular server, and what it will try, it will try to download something here, right? So that what you are going to provide that name. This name is already there. You're just going to provide some name, right? So for that, what you can provide is like this one, right? Event grid viewer dot latest, correct? So what it will do end of the day, it will try to pull one image, that image name called Azure Event Grid Viewer. Someone someone from Microsoft, they have already built this particular web application, right? So we are just pulling that web application, installing in your web app service, right? So that's all you are. And this is the tag. Tag means the latest is the tag, means which tag you want to pull. Maybe there are multiple version of that particular application, right? But you want to install the latest one. So that's where you have to provide the latest, column latest, right? So then you can able to pull that, right? Then next, okay, the public access is on. And then let's go to the monitor and resource. Just leave it as is. Okay. Enable application side. We are not going to do that, and not even Defender. And we'll just go with the default tag, or you can provide name. Uh, yeah. event up, right? So then it will just try to create one, review it, and then press create. Let it create, right? So your web app is ready. Okay, let it, let it build. So we'll go, go to the other step, right? So now once we, the our web application is ready. Okay, it's ready, right? So what we have to do now, we have to connect it to this particular, we have to subscribe that particular grid with this particular, through this our web application, so that we can able to see whatever the things are happening and what are the different events coming to the system, right? Coming to the event grid, right? Or event grid topic. So like, so we have to follow the process, how to do that. Okay, you have to go to the application, and then from the resource groups, we are going to go to the pops of events, right? Our web app is ready, right? Now let's go to our this guy, and what we have given, pops of events, right? This is the event grid topic, correct? So here, what we are going to do. So here, if you see, there is no subscription available, right? You can directly create from here, okay? Or you can follow the steps from this particular blade. You already got this particular one, right? And then you have to click and browse the overview section. This is our overview section, okay? Then you have to check like Azure Event Grid Viewer, the web application. Do we have any web application available here? Not yet, right? So the web application is running, and this step I'm showing this particular step. So, this particular step got just juggled. That's why I'm trying to make sure like you are understanding the right thing. I'm creating another. What I'm going to do is going to here, and then we'll go to the web application, right? So in this web application, what we'll go and try to browse it. What do you see? Do you see anything? Nothing, right? So now we'll try to configure that. Okay, so let me grab it down, okay, and we'll try to configure that. Okay, so here what we are going to do now, we are going to the event grid, right? Here is the event grid, and we'll go to the event subscriptions, right? Here is the subscriptions we have, right? We don't have any subscription, right? So what we'll do, go to the event grid and try to create one. Okay, so here what we'll do, maybe subscription name, we can give some subscription name. It's giving some basic subscription, we can give some name like now, or copy the same name, not a problem. Okay, basic subscription. Okay, sub means subscription we have given. So the event grid, so we are choosing the event grid schema. Schema is the one, it's default coming from our system whenever we are creating the event subscription. So they have different kind of versions they have. So if you want to understand what are these versions, then you have to go through the document and go for that, right? What exactly? Because B1, B2, B3, these are the different kind of schemas whenever you are dealing with the database and all. So you are dealing with different kind of different version of schema. So today you don't have the new, you don't have a column available in the table, and in your v2 versions of schema you are already adding another column into the table. So if you are building a new database, you can always install that particular schema, so that you will get the whole database according to that particular version which you are referring to, right? So that way. So now this is particular event grid topic already, and the resource is pops up events, right? So this is our parent one, right? The parent topic. So now what we are going to do, the endpoint. What will be our endpoint? So as we are using the web app, right? So for the web app, we can go with the webhook. Okay. So for other things, remember, if when we are discussing about the event grid and event hub, all these things, we discuss also one event grid can send the event to another grid as well, another hub as well, right? And any other different storage or different queue, they can communicate in between, right? So now we are not communicating to any other no, other grid or hub. Rather, we are just trying to connect through one web app, right? So for web app, so we have a connection called, endpoint called webhook. Okay. While you are doing webhook, what you have to do, you have to configure the endpoint to which endpoint you are trying to configure or subscribe, right? So here you have to provide the subscribe endpoint. What is the subscribe endpoint? So it has to be your your web app, right? So let's go to the web app. I'll just pull the web app here. Okay, go back to the web app section, and we know like the default domain, right? What is the default domain here, right? This one, copy this, right? And now what we will do, we'll try to paste it here, and it has to start with https colon stuff us. Okay, then at the end, just we need to append the API. Which API? The through which through which the web application can connect to the event the event grid, and able to get the latest data, what's happening in the event grid itself, the topic itself, right? So here what we have to do, we have to write at the end API. What we did, we wrote, we copied the default domain from our web application, pasted here, and we are just trying to prepend the https colon slash slash and append app slash update. Okay, sorry, not app, API, because we are calling the API, it's not app, right? So this is what, whenever we are providing this, it will be automatically create a connection between the web application that we have installed, this one, and the event grid itself, right? So that's what it will be. Then what we'll do, we'll provide create, right? API updates. Okay, perfect. Otherwise, it will not show anything. Please configure the endpoint. Oh, we didn't apply it. Okay, confirm selection and then create it. Right? It's trying to build it. What do you see here? Did we do anything in the web app? No, right? But the moment we have subscribed to this event grid, immediately we are seeing something here in the web application, right? See, and if we click here, you can able to see what exactly the event is. The event is nothing but it's a event subscription, right? You can see the data, what exactly, and what are the things it's incoming, and what kind of subscription it is, right? So it will show those detail. Now this event we got because we have connected to the subscribe to that particular event grid through our Azure web, okay, Azure web app, right? So now anything we are going to do, it should show here.